Today we're going to be replacing brake pads on a Nissan NP200. I'm going to give you a quick guideline on how to do so. Okay, the tools we're going to need is a 13 spanner and a 14 spanner, your wheel spanner to remove the wheel, and a water pump pliers to push the caliper piston back. And also we obviously need a new set of brake pads. Remember, we're doing this at home. It's advisable to have your vehicle on a flat surface before jacking up the vehicle for safety reasons. Okay, now that we got the wheel out of the way, we're going to be removing the bolts which hold the caliper onto the brake disc. This is fairly simple. The 14 spanner goes on the inner nut and you use your 13 spanner to remove the actual bolt. You can use a number 13 socket to make this process much easier. Once you have removed both the bolts which are holding the caliper onto the brake disc, use a bit of force to remove the caliper from the brake disc. Remember, you're not going to take out the actual line to the caliper, you're just removing it out from the footing basically. And once you take out the caliper, you can use the same spanner to take out your actual brake pads. Now comes the fun. The hardest part of this job is moving the piston fully back so it allows you to put the caliper on once you've installed the new brake pads. My advice is put the caliper on top of the brake disc, use your old brake pad and put it against the piston. Once you do that there, use your water pump pliers to help you to push the piston back. As you can see, I've wedged it through in the caliper and used it to push the piston back. In the start of the video, I've advised you guys to please open your brake fluid cap. This in turn will help you to push the piston back much easier. You can also use a screwdriver or your wheel spanner to help you to push the piston completely back. Once it's completely back, you will be able to put the caliper back on to the new brake pads, as I'm going to show you. On putting the new brake pads in, use the disc as a guideline to actually fit them on. This is very easy as the new brake pads just slide on onto the clip. Once you have secured the brake pads on, you can then put back your caliper. It fits only one way, guys. This is very easy. You're going to use the same 13 bolts which you took out, which was holding the caliper. You're going to put them back in. On putting them in, remember, you use the 14 spanner to hold the nut and the 13 spanner or the 13 socket to tighten the bolt on. Guys, once this is done, your job is basically done. You can move on to the next side. If you're having any problems with actually putting on the caliper, this means that you haven't pushed the caliper piston back fully. Remember guys, your brake fluid cap must be open. Once you're sure everything is tightened up, go into the van, turn the steering so that you can put your wheel back on, jack down the van, make sure your wheel nuts are tightened and move on to the next side. Do not rush the next side, guys, especially once you've replaced the brake pads and you're putting on the caliper. If you over tighten those number 13 bolts, they can break and they are very difficult to take out once they're broken. Remember, before you drive off, ensure that your brake fluid cap is back on, and before you drive off, guys, you have to continuously press the brake pedal until the brake pedal is hard. On driving, within 500 meters your brakes should be normal, and you've basically changed your own brake pads. Thank you for watching, guys. Keep safe.